This is my 71 Chevelle, and what I'm doing here is I'm putting power windows in it. So one of the first things I have to do is to change out the standard regulator for the power one. So first I have to remove the glass, and to remove the glass, really the only thing that holds it in is 3 bolts, one right there, or 3 nuts there and there. And then we got these stoppers here, one here and one here, that need to be removed because they'll get in the way as you're pulling the glass out. And then my weather strip has to be removed, and you see mine has screws, so that makes it easy. It's not riveted like the original ones. So that's what I'm going to do first. Oh, and I've marked all the nuts and the bolts just to make it easier to line back up. But all right, so I'll undo all those and pull out the glass. All right, first thing I'm going to do that I forgot to mention earlier is I have to loosen, these are the bottom stops in the window. So I'm going to loosen those. You have to take them out, just drop them down. This way the window will go all the way down. All right, so now it goes all the way down, and I can get to those screws up there. So I might as well pop this out now. Now, if you have the original weather strip, you're gonna have to drill them and they'll be riveted, but I don't, so this makes it easy. And if you don't remove this weather strip, you'll really have to force the glass out. You're going to damage it anyways. So might as well take it out. All right. So now, what I think I'm going to do is get some tape and tape the top of this right now before I forget and damage the paint on the edge up here. All right. Okay, now I'm going to remove the upper stops, and those you need to take all the way out. If you don't, those will definitely hang up coming out, removing the glass. Now all I have left is just the 3 bolts, and the glass will come out. I'll take these 2, or 3 nuts, I should say. All right, and this is the way I choose to do it. Do the 2 end nuts first, and then do this one last. Now when I do this, it should be it. Okay, I got that off. Now, I think, let's see if I can pop this off. I'm gonna lower it back down, and then push it off the regulator. And that's it. All right, now I'm ready to remove the regulator. and basically just these 4 bolts. As you see, I got these 4 holes marked because that's where the power regulator will go, and those holes are already there. Nothing you have to drill if you're doing this power window conversion, at least for the original stuff. So I'll loosen those bolts. And then I will have to loosen the upper and the lower also. Well, actually remove those altogether. Guess I should have held on to that. This is why you put the tape on the edge, because of the regulator here. It kind of barely fits through, so you don't want to scrape the tape. All right, regulator's out. Time to reinstall the power one. All right, now I'm ready to install the regulator. What worked for me last time was I just turned this about a 90, actuate it till it's close to 90. This way I kind of pop it in. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of ways to do this, but this seemed to work for me last time. Now, I'm going to line it up with the 4 holes I have marked. And bolt it in. That's pretty much it. Put the 4 bolts in, and the regulator is installed. Very good. All right, now that the regulator is in, I'm going to put the window track back in. And as you see, I've got it all greased up. I've got the rod greased, and then the track itself just a little bit. And then I've got the regulator roller greased. So basically I'm just gonna put it back in the way I took it out. All right, I put the track back in and it's all greased up, ready to go. So now I'm just gonna pop the glass back in. All right, I think this fits right through here easy enough. Is in, and now going to basically put the nuts back to my marks. Tighten it up, and it'll be pretty darn close. I'll have to do some small adjustments to go. All right. And that's pretty much it. I'll have to do some fine adjustments and then roll the window all the way down and put the weather strip back in. And that'll, oh, and then I gotta put these guys back in, the stops. But that's pretty much it. All right. All right, now I've got the regulator, the track, and the window all tightened up. And I'm just gonna do demonstrate a quick test on how it works. I don't have the harness in, so I just rigged up a power supply to it. So it works pretty good. And I'll finish the adjustments and fine adjustments later. But I think next I'm going to tackle the dash. Actually, I have it loosened up already. There's only like 6 bolts and 2 screws that really hold the whole thing in. And you can, if you're doing a whole power window conversion, you can do it really in any sequence. This is just what I'm choosing to do. I mean, you could take the dash out first, put the harness in, but whatever you want to do. Many ways to do it. All right. All right, I've got the dash out now, and you can see where the 6 bolts were. One was here, right there. One down below. One above the column was right there. And one on the passenger side, and then 2 on the other side. There was also a few ground wires that had to get disconnected, and of course the AC controls had to get disconnected and a few other things, but that was about it. So now I'm basically ready to put my harness in, and that gets routed somewhere behind here, for the power windows. But what I need to do next before that is I need to drill pretty big holes in the cowl right over here, and then in the end of the door. And people say that you can do this, without taking the doors off. I don't see how. The cowl's easy enough, and these are like 2 and 2 1/4 inch holes, something like that. They're pretty big holes for the boot. But in the door, it's pretty tight in here to get anything, any kind of a drill or even a greeley punch. You might be able to do it, but it doesn't look easy. And from the inside, I mean, I've got to get, you probably can't see it with my camera, but this is about where the holes have to go, where this access port is, and there's a support piece right here that's going to be blocking any kind of a right angle drill or anything in there. So I'm just going to take the doors off. To me, it's simpler anyways. It's not such a bad deal to do that. So that's next. I think I'll take this door off, drill it, and then put it back on, route the wires. And you kind of have to start from the driver's side and then work your way over, just because of the way the harnesses connect. There's 3 harnesses for the power window setup, and the 2 front ones, they actually connect. I think on the passenger side is where it connects, but it's got a route behind all the AC stuff. So, okay. All right, as you can see, the door's off with this little cradle. It just makes it super simple. 1-man job, 5 minutes, off. And now, you look at the side of the jamb here, you see these 3 dimples that they're basically marked for you. Well, this is what the door looks like after the holes are in it. There's just the two little 1/8 inch holes on the upper and lower. Those are for the rubber boot, the little pins, the plastic pins that go into. And the big hole is a 2-inch diameter hole, and you could actually use a hole saw for that, but I actually use this Greeley punch here, and there's the slug for it laying there. It does a really nice job. You basically just drill a 3/4 hole and draw the die in, and the die actually fits back here in the door. There's not a lot of clearance, but there's enough, and so that worked out really nice. And here's what it looks like in the cowl there on the door jamb, and same thing with that. And that's even a bigger hole. That's like a 2 1/4 inch hole, so I had to get 2 different dies, but that worked out great. Alright, I've got the 2 1/8 inch holes drilled here, and the center hole I started roughing out. This is going to be, basically I'm going to drill it to 3/4 first, just for the Greeley punch, and I'm going to do it with this step drill, which is, it seems to work pretty good. This is the first time I've used it, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. All right, perfect. And I marked my drill so I know that's 3/4 of an inch. And let's check this. Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to tape that up just to minimize the damage, and then I'm going to draw the punch through it. All right, got it all taped up. Got my Greeley punch. I'm going to stick the die in the back. Just thread this guy on there. This is why you need the 3/4 hole. Snug the die up. Okay, nice and snug. Now I got the right one here. And it's going to start drawing it in. Just about there. All right. Awesome. And that is a perfect hole. Much better than trying to use a hole saw. All right, I'm ready to punch the 2-inch hole in the door. Got my 3/4 inch hole there for the Greeley punch, and I'm going to put the die inside the door. There's not a lot of clearance, but it does fit. Put that in place, and I'm going to thread this guy in there. Just get it snugged up. Now I'm just going to draw the die in, and that's going to punch the hole out. Of course, I knocked the phone over just as I was getting to the end here, so hopefully I got the camera set up kind of close to where it was. And there it is. Nice clean 2-inch hole.